Okay, with Nancy Lydia Kimmel, Josh's employment agency of Brooklyn is the screenplay, the winning screenplay. It's got everything. It's got a little bit of fantasy, it's got a crime solving, it's got some romance, it's funny. You just basically you're throwing the kitchen sink at it, and it's really working with your tone. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I tried to, you know, uh, I want to have, uh, you know, characters that people can get behind, people that, characters that others can identify, with Josh, with Jazmine, with Detective O'Shaughnessy, with Death, aka L, and then, I think they all really work together.
So where does the idea is that Josh owns an employment agency in Brooklyn, which tends the title. But there's ghosts. He can talk to three ghosts, right?
Yeah, so he's got um the reason he can do that is because it's revealed in where Death tells him he remembers him from Angola, where he was a soldier. He was a United States Marine, and he's got a bullet lodged in his head, which allows him to be able to see these spirits, so to speak, um, in the uh, that he sees in his workplace that are upstairs. And yeah,
Okay, so
so
let's talk about what the insights that you gave in your blog interview, because basically you said that you look like you work in an employment agency in a large blue building. If people are
blue
watching this
building.
on, yeah, exactly, watching this on YouTube, it's a blue building, and it seems
See the
like
window?
and then you said told a story about the cleaning ladies were cleaning upstairs and they came running and they said they're not coming back. Hence, there's ghosts, I guess. So this is kind of a true story. Do you talk to three ghosts every day or like Josh does?
Well, we'll talk to one or two maybe. It is really strange because the upstairs is empty, and just before this podcast came on, my
Yeah.
window started shaking.
Okay.
This whole twice it happened. It freaked me out. This whole huge window. I was getting ready to talk with you, and it's like it just went. There's this whole the whole room started shaking. It happened twice,
Okay.
and
Not, it wasn't the
probably
subway, underground subway that was doing it?
no, no flat ground. It sounded like it came from upstairs. It's some and nobody's upstairs, and it sounded like something happened upstairs that caused my window to shake.
Okay.
And we had at once the window cleaners, they were guys, by the way, this big buffed guys. And he says, I'm not going back up there. And he never came back. The guy never came back. They were part of I don't want to say it, the window washers that come in. I don't want to drop their name. They're really good.
Yeah.
They're local. But he says, I'm not coming back here. He says, there's somebody up there. There's spooks up there. And they
Okay.
ran downstairs and the guy ran behind him and we all looked at each other and I said, okay, well, they're not bothering us. I think they're friendly. And
Yeah.
I just on the cuff said, would you mind shutting the coffee pot off before I leave today? Because, I might forget that happened. And so I thanked them. They shut the coffee pot off for me.
Okay. Why would they care about the coffee pot?
I have no idea. I have no idea. It was kind of a test, I guess, to see if there really were any spooks upstairs, maybe. Um, but it happened on a couple of occasions. And then I asked them to do something else, and I think they just got pissed. It's like, or I might have forgotten to turn it off. I have no idea, but no, no, they was shut off. So I'm not going to push my luck.
Because in a sense, when you're reading your script, you can kind of think that it's Josh's kind of like alter egos or his subconscious that are talking to him. It's like a part of who he is,
Mm, interesting.
right?
Yeah. I like that. I really like that take. Kind of like Herman's Head back in the
Yeah,
day.
that's a way you're going way back. That's like a Generation X like niche reference there. That's like a Fox show, right? It
Yeah,
played after
yeah.
Married with Children back in the early 90s. Like, not many people will get that one, but I got it. Yeah.
I don't know. They'll have to look it up. They'll just have to do the research,
And
man.
listen, in the Disney was the Pixar Inside Out, or what's that movie? Inside Out?
Yeah,
That kids movie? It's a really good movie. They ripped off Herman's head. That's Herman's head.
I know.
They're doing the same thing, right? So,
You know, a lot of our
yeah.
great films and movies, I'm gonna give give kudos to Rod Serling
Twilight Zone?
Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
I mean, even Stephen King. A lot of your horror movies came from there. Chucky came from there. Although I actually had a Chucky experience as a 9-year-old. My doll. Well, kids, I was laying down. The moon was coming through the window. The doll that my parents bought me. The moon was shining on their eyes. Their eyes opened while I was looking at it. Freaked me out. Took it outside. We were on a dead end street. While everybody was sleeping, I put the doll in the garbage and sat it next to the garbage can. I'm sure the garbage people came and got it.
Yeah.
But when I went to school, it was gone. And we lived by a dead end street. So I just imagined it walking into the woods. So, yeah, I think we all had the Chucky vibes. Before Chucky, yeah.
Okay, so the question is that why are they here then? Why are they in this building? It seems like you're consciously aware of the supernatural, I guess, right?
I don't know. Maybe I believe the way it's playing out is that the good ghosts, it's kind of like ley lines. It's so good energy attracts good energy. So where these three are in the vicinity of where they actually passed away is like this good energy vibe, and maybe Josh kind of draws that out, brings that out in them so that
Yeah.
the good ghosts can go there, whereas evil ghosts can't get in there. Hence, we have the antithesis of good, aka which we don't realize till the end, Mary. Mary actually has a whole different plan because where there's good, there has to be evil, right? You got to balance it.
Yeah.
You got to balance it. So Mary's this, petite, really nice, she's got some, chutzpah. I mean, you push her in a corner, she's going to push back. But Mary has an ulterior motive at the end because she doesn't want the good that these ghosts are doing to propagate and get too good because they brought in Mr. Hernandez, who was shot by the drug dealers and he was watching over his children. So Mr. Hernandez is a good guy. He brings in his whole Colombian friends down in the barrio in Brooklyn to help with the kidnapped girls. And Mary at the end, yeah, she's gonna throw a wrench in things, and I think Death knows it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you work at a employment agency? Is that what you do?
Well, we're actually a school, Matt, and I'm a family nurse practitioner working on my doctorate
Okay.
and medical degree, and we train people and we get them jobs. We help them get jobs. It's kind of weird. I mean, it's kind of like what we do. I mean, it's a great thing, but it kind of correlates with Josh's employment agency
Yeah.
because it's hard, it's not easy. And it's kind of I don't want to say a rough neighbor. Yeah, it's a little bit rough. Okay, yeah, a little rough, the neighborhood. So there's correlations, and we all try to do the best we can. We're do-gooders. That's our job.
Do-gooders. Is there rough neighborhoods in Brooklyn now? I thought that it was all gentrified.
Oh, well, actually, no, there's rough neighborhoods in Brooklyn. We're in Detroit.
You're in Detroit. Okay, but you just use Brooklyn as a
I use Brooklyn because I remember I was in Brooklyn at one time and all I wanted to do was go in and get a pastrami sandwich. And I walked out and somebody wanted to beat me up. And I'm
okay.
not sure why. It was very random.
So
But
I used to go to Detroit all the time. I had my cousins in Windsor. We used to go see Tigers games
Oh yeah,
as a kid, and
yeah.
it's changed completely. It's so different, the city, like from what I remember as a child.
When were you here last?
Maybe like 10 years ago.
Oh, no, to go to certain places, it hasn't changed that.
No. Okay.
No.
Maybe it's the sports area. I remember Tiger Stadium was like kind of a rough neighborhood. And
I mean, they're building up the city.
yeah,
But there are places that you don't want to be at 2 o'clock in the morning.
sure.
That's RoboCop town.
Did you say RoboCop time?
RoboCop town.
Okay, okay. RoboCop town. Okay. So you kind of have like this thing where in the script, so Josh is kind of has these ghosts and they're trying to do good, I guess. Like you said, they're good ghosts. They're trying to help him out, I guess, right?
Yeah, they don't know why they're still here.
Yeah.
But there's always, face it, we don't have answers to everything.
No.
Nobody's going to give you answers to everything. Even movies aren't going to give you answers to everything. It just is. Why
Yeah.
are they here? How come they're not going? How come they don't see the light and just, take off? Um, but there's reasons. And the reason is part two.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But I'm going to do a part two.
So the question I have for you is that it's in the wheelhouse of a TV series.
It could be. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, absolutely it could be. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Like the next part two is going to be pretty interesting. I'm working on part two. That's going to be fun. Death is going to get involved again. Detective O'Shaughnessy, Jazmine, Mr. Hernandez, because George decides to go. He decides to go with Michael to see his family. He's not gonna doesn't want to be here anymore. He wants to, as a ghost, he wants to join, his family in the afterlife. But yeah, I watched Supernatural for 15 years. I watched those guys. They're my bros, man.
Yeah.
Sam and Dean. They're my guys. And, the writers, every show, I loved it. Crowley, I mean, it was a great TV show, Supernatural. Shout out to Jared and Jensen.
So then but then this is a feature in a sense, and basically it's a long feature, but it really works. It's got a good pace to it, like I said, where it's kind of mixed up with genres, but it's really about Josh, right? Like it's about kind of
Well,
his arc, I
yeah,
guess, right?
yeah. Well, Josh, is going to be more developed, I think, in the future, because he's got some mad skills and he's got some deep psychological wounds as well. He doesn't talk about what happened in Angola, but Al remembers him from Angola. Because when Al says, "I know you," because when Al came to take the older woman, which was the daughter of George, the magician, he recognizes Josh, and it's like, well, I know you, but I don't know you. And then he recognizes him when they go in to the building and they storm the building to rescue the hostages.
Mhm.
So, I remember you from Angola. So that's a whole different, that's a whole nother offshoot on the storyline where you see Josh's character really develop and what he's been through and what he knows and what he's seen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there's a reason why, like you said, there's a reason why the ghosts are there, but we can but that's what I mean, like a television series where you're kind of like you can dig deeper into reasons, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, everybody's going to have a backstory. I
Yeah.
mean, we kind of know Jasmine's backstory and O'Shaughnessy's backstory, George's backstory, but Mary and Josh's backstory are very, very interesting and very convoluted, and it's going to be interesting. Josh has got way more skills than he lets on. He's just trying to be very low key. He's trying
Yeah.
to live extremely low key, almost too low key for what he's actually capable of doing.
Well, he's afraid, right? So
Well, I think he's more, I don't think it's fear. I think it's more fear of what he can do. Have you ever seen A Substitute? Um, you know, that was a great movie. But he's got some skills, but I think his biggest fear is himself. He's trying to kind of put a leash on what he's actually capable of doing.
so you
So
got
he's
this.
trying.
So you're doing. It seems like you're doing a lot of things. So what kind of propelled you to kind of get into screenwriters? Like you said, you do like nursing, you do medicine. You're obviously education. You're helping people out. You dance, you paint. Like it seems like you're doing a lot. Like what motivated you to start writing screenplays?
Because I've always been a storyteller. Always. Ever since I was a kid. I used to get in trouble telling stories, man, with kids. I'd tell stories, I'd scare them. They'd run home and tell their parents, and then their parents would call my parents. And when I was younger and my children were young, I would tell stories to the children in the block. They'd all come over at night, and I would make up stories, and they really, I mean, I'd always put a scare on them because I grew up like the Stephen King kids. I mean, Stephen King, everything from Creepshow, man. I was the kid that read Creepshow in their room while eating chips. You know, we had the dead end street in the woods where we called it Dead Man's Falls, and all it was this uh, sewer conduit made of aluminum that was all jagged and came out, and it was a storm runoff, and it would be falling down into the rocks into the Rouge River, which was really nasty. And I mean, stories abounded. I mean, it was real, man. It was cool. That was very cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then okay, so then why screenplays? You're like I said, you're like a movie person. Is that what like because you could do
Oh
novels, you
God.
could do short stories.
I've always been a movie person. Grew up on movies. I just figured it was time to put my stories into scripts because I can see them in my mind. I can see the actors in my mind. I can see the scenes and how it plays out. And wherever that person where you've got this one thought, you've made up this story and you're sitting at a red light and it's so funny you start laughing and you're hoping that the guys next to you don't see you cracking up. It's like that. When you can see it in your mind's eye, you can see the way it plays out from beginning to end. It's like, why not put it together? Actually, my video recording equipment just came in, so I'm excited.
So what are you gonna do with that?
Making a horror movie.
So you're gonna make a movie now.
I am. It's called The Window. It's a short. It's like 24
Yeah,
minutes.
of course, yeah. Well, I'd love to
It's
see
only
it when it's done. But you haven't made a film before.
no, no, I haven't really made a film. No. So I'm gonna probably get some people from Wayne State to help out. A couple of actors.
Yeah. Well, that's what
Be
you
fun.
need, right? But Detroit, we've shown a few films from Detroit. There's a pretty good independent film
Oh my
community.
God.
Yeah.
They're amazing. The talent in Detroit is off the chain. The jazz, the creative talents here abound. It's a good place to be.
Speaking of, it's so funny because I was watching. I didn't know you were from Detroit. I was watching the documentary on the Bad Boys. Speaking of Generation X
Oh,
of Detroit Pistons, and like that's such a random movie that documentary I was watching, and so maybe there's something to Detroit or something. I don't know. It's so random that I watched that last night, and now I'm talking to you.
how about that?
Yeah,
Interesting. I have no idea.
yeah,
Maybe there's a correlation. I don't know.
yeah. And it's the 401 drive from Toronto to Detroit, right? So
401,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The 401 drive. Absolutely.
Which
Know it well.
takes you all the way to basically Montreal. Like it's a huge highway. So
Yes, it is. It's still 2 lanes or 4 lanes?
Yeah, it depends on the area, right? So
It does. It really does.
so you're gonna get into your full way of directing, and that's interesting. My
Uh,
suggestion to you is to basically make sure you got a good post-production team, good sound
oh,
designer, good
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure. For sure. That's my goal. Absolutely. I know I actually have a few people that I know that I'm probably gonna reach out to.
And then so you're working on other scripts right now, I guess, right?
Oh my God, yeah. I've got, well, the part 2 for Josh's employment agency, that's not gonna come right away. The one script that I'm working on for the movie is called The Window. That's the horror movie. That's the short horror movie short. Kind of based on another true story. Not gonna lie, there's a window in my home that I can see. I can see it. So, but I can't find it. That's the problem. So yeah, I've weaved a story into that.
That's an interesting riddle, I guess, right? So,
Um,
but you're okay. You're in sound mind. So basically, meaning that when someone makes that statement, it's like, well, just go to the window if you can see it. Just walk to
I
the
tried.
window.
No,
Yeah,
no, I actually tried. So that's the thing. I went up to the bathroom, went in the bathroom, there's a little cubby hole. Inside the cubby hole, there's another cubby hole, which is a crawl hole into the upstairs attic. And this tiny little attic is a crawl space. And there's no window there. So logically, my theory is they probably um, maybe built wood to block it off for whatever reason, I don't know. Um, I think that's the only way to probably get to is to pull some boards off from behind to be able to see it. Um, but in the crawl space, it's not there.
yeah.
So it has to be there somewhere, obviously.
So then that's a pretty good idea. That's a really good idea. Like so, then you just the mystery is getting to that window and then what's in the window, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, it's cool because this is also going to be a short. She hears noises and things like that, which you gotta bring in something. So she hears noises at night, and she doesn't know what's going on. She calls in Orkin. I'm actually going to see if Orkin might sponsor us. Who gets Orkin to sponsor? Orkin's cool, man.
Yeah,
They keep pests away, and the orchid guy comes in and he looks around and he tells her, might have a raccoon up there, whatever. And so he goes away, and then one night she goes up there determined to find the window, pull boards down, whatever she has to do to find the window. Um, because there's no light emanating from the attic. And when she goes in there and she's working or looking, her phone starts to die because all she has is her phone. And then she hears these guys break into the house while she's in this cubby space, within a cubby space. And these guys are they break into her house, they go upstairs, they rummage around, you can hear them talk. She can hear them talking about what they want to do to her. It's really creepy, Truman Capote stuff. Um, and then while she's in this cubby hole, a hand clasped over her nose and her mouth. And there's something in there. There's an
yeah.
entity in there. So yeah, it's gonna be cool.
I could see that. So you got just kind of I can visualize it, and you just have to like good sound and nice direction and visuals. You got yourself a film.
You got some good jump scares too from the traps that the organ guy laid too.
Yeah. So you're on your way, I guess, right?
A duet.
You're on your way.
I don't know where I'm on my way to, but as long as people enjoy it and I'm
Well,
having
this
a
new
good time.
venture, I guess, like writing and screenwriting and film and yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Create something. Yeah, I want to get to the point where what I see up here, people can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll have a
That's
good time seeing it.
yeah, that's the art, right? So
Hopefully.
well, congratulations on this script. And you said we had another one. We'll hopefully do the Zoom reading of the other script we were talking during.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have you guys finish off Josh. I'm gonna add a couple of things, because I took your advice on some of the script and
Not my advice, the readers who read your
the
script
reader's
advice. I want.
advice. Yeah, I took the reader's advice and I really liked what they had and I liked their reading of the initial opening. That was great. Tell them thank you. Um, but yeah, I think I'll have you guys do Josh and I'll have you do the dream, the other script. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
Can you do special effects like sound effects?
we're just gonna do a reading. Like in terms of like
Oh,
we do a script movie, we can do that. But I'm saying like for the reading, the Zoom reading, we're just gonna do like a reading, an actor reading of it.
yeah, that'd be okay.
Yeah.
I look
All
forward
right.
to it.
Well, congratulations. I'm looking forward to working with you even more. And it sounds like you got some stories to tell.
I do.
So keep at it.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Bye.